The Fiery Furnace, a story of courage and faith. Hey kids, are you ready for an amazing story about courage, faith, and a big miracle? Today we're going back in time to the ancient kingdom of Babylon, a land of grand palaces, powerful kings, and golden statues. In this story, you'll meet three brave friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who stood up for what they believed in, even when everyone else was bowing down. And guess what? They faced something super scary, a blazing fiery furnace. But do you know what happens when you have faith in God? Incredible things can happen. So sit back, listen closely, and get ready for a story that will inspire you to stand tall and trust God no matter what comes your way. Once upon a time in the great kingdom of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar built a gigantic golden statue, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide. He then summoned the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials to come to the dedication of the image he had set up. So the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. With a loud and commanding voice, the herald proclaimed, "Nations and peoples of every language, listen to the king's command. When you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, and every kind of music, you must fall down and worship this golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. But beware, whoever does not bow down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing, fiery furnace." People from all over the land gathered and obeyed the king's command. But not everyone was willing to bow. At this time, some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews and accused Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for not obeying the king's orders. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were faithful Jewish men and had been appointed as administrators over the province of Babylon by the king, refused to worship the idol. They served only the one true God and would not bow to the king's image, even under threat of death. This infuriated the king, and King Nebuchadnezzar called for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and confronted the three men and gave them one last chance to worship the statue. But the three men stood firm, saying, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. And even if he does not, we want you to know, Your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Even more enraged to their reply, the king ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. He commanded his strongest soldiers to bind the three men and throw them into the flames. So these three men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. The fire was so intense that it killed the soldiers who threw them in. But when Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace, he was astonished. He saw not 3 men, but 4, walking unharmed in the flames, and the 4th looked like a divine figure. The king realized that their God had protected them. Nebuchadnezzar called the men out of the furnace, and they emerged completely unharmed. Their clothes were untouched by the flames, and they didn't even smell of smoke. Moved by the power of their God, Nebuchadnezzar praised him and decreed that anyone who spoke against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would face severe consequences. This story demonstrates unwavering faith, loyalty to God, and his power to deliver in miraculous ways. It's a powerful reminder of God's protection and presence even in life's fiery trials.